To summarize, natural monopoly is one when there is only one provider of utility or service in an area, as it can supply entire area at a low price than its competitors. Example of utilities like power company, water company, cable operators, etc. There are extremely high fixed cost of distribution. Large scale infrastructure include cables and grids for electricity supply, pipelines for gas and water supply, and networks for rail and underground. On the graph of natural monopoly, ATC continuously falls as fixed cost gets distributed among more and more output. MC is always below ATC because since infrastructure is already in place, the extra cost or the marginal cost of providing service to another or new customer is very low. If MC is low, it pulls the ATC down because of MC and ATC relation. Therefore, both ATC and MC curve is flat. A natural monopoly is divided into two, unregulated and regulated. If unregulated, a natural monopolist will set a very high price or sets its monopoly price and produces a profit maximizing output where MR is equal to MC and price will be greater than MC. So in order to regulate the natural monopolist, the government sets up a regulatory commission, and they usually in order to regulate the natural monopoly, the government uses two types of pricing strategies: average cost pricing and marginal cost pricing. If the government sets price equal to marginal cost, then it is an allocatively efficient price, which is a socially optimum price and output, where marginal social benefit equals marginal social cost. This is the output which people want, and there will be no deadweight loss when a firm produces an output where price equals marginal cost. But it incurs a loss since that price does not cover the average total cost, and the government needs to pay subsidy to the loss-making firms. It is again a burden on the government. Therefore, usually the government follows average cost pricing, where price equals average total cost, and this is also called a fair return price since the firm makes or earns a normal profit. And here it does create a deadweight loss since the output is less than the output produced at P is equal to MC. But since it covers the average total cost of a firm, there is no need for the subsidy for the government to pay, or no subsidy is needed here. The average total cost pricing can be done through two types. One is through price cap or ceiling regulation. The another is called rate of return regulation. Under price cap or ceiling, a maximum price is set to charge for the firm by the government. And under rate of return regulation, a firm is allowed to recover the operating cost incurred and an agreed reasonable return on capital investment. So the primary objective here is to limit profit, prevent companies or firms from pricing above cost. Graphically, we can show the regulating natural monopoly in this graph like this. So the first is the monopoly price when the firm produces. This is the demand curve, which is also the price curve and the average revenue curve. And this is the MR curve, which is downward sloping. For a natural monopolist, as I told you in the beginning, the ATC and the MC is below ATC and both are flat because the ATC continuously falls or keeps falling as more output is produced, and the marginal extra cost will also be lower for since the infrastructure is already in place or already is already set up. So ATC and MC both are flat for a natural monopoly. But whereas in normal times, it will be the ATC will be U-shaped. So in this graph, you can see in the beginning, the price, if unregulated, a natural monopolist will set the monopoly price very high at PUN, you can see here, and the quantity he produces, the profit maximizing quantity, where MR is equal to MC. So this is the output, and when the vertically, when it touches the demand curve, this is the price set by the monopolist. So if regulated by the government, the price, if the regulated by the government and the price is set at P is equal to MC, so you can see this is the price SO, which is very low and which does not cover. You can see this is the quantity produced at P is equal to MC. This is the demand curve, this is the price curve, and this is the MC curve, and here QSO is the quantity produced if the government sets marginal cost pricing, which is very low, and there you can see the ATC is higher than the price, and therefore the firm incurs a loss which has to be covered through subsidy by the government. But if the government adopts an average price costing strategy, you can see the price is set at PREG, regulated, and the quantity is where the demand curve cuts the ATC here. This is the quantity produced, which is less than the socially optimum quantity of QSO, and therefore a deadweight loss is created here. Deadweight loss is created here, but since the price covers ATC, there is no need for the government to pay for the subsidy. Okay, so this is about the graphical representation of the regulated natural monopoly.